I'm Matt Higgins, and I'm an editorial intern at One Another York, and I'm also the student ambassador for the student section of the site. So, and basically, I do a lot of writing, a lot of content, articles, previews, whatever they give me, I kind of do. I think looking ahead, I think if I didn't do what I was doing now, and working and writing, even though there's extra workload, I probably wouldn't be doing as well in my degree, because especially when I break up for summer, the summer months are rough for 4 or 5 months, and most people haven't written a thing, but I'd been writing week in, week out, and it just kept my eye in, and I think that's going to come through in my degree. And also just things like knowing the industry now and knowing what's available and what's out there and where it's going means that when I go into a real job, I'm not going in cold. I'll also know that there's people who are in my position that will work for free as long as you're giving them something back, which is always good to know when you're going into a business, that there are people willing to help you out. And yeah, I just think for me, if I was in a position of I'd got successful in the industry, I'd want to create the opportunities that I've been given. I think it's just one of those, what goes around comes around kind of karma things that kind of happen. So yeah, well, I think the idea of people wanting money for work is quite a common idea. I mean, yeah, if I worked in a shop, I would definitely want money. It doesn't interest me. I think when you've got someone who's got an interest and they genuinely have an interest, they'll happily do it regardless of if they're getting paid or not. And I think for me, just kind of like knowledge is sort of power, and understanding how the industry works, for me, it's far more relevant than being paid in money or getting a higher mark in my degree. Like actually knowing what's going on, and also like it's not necessarily what you know, it's who you know. So I've met people, especially around here in York, like I was saying, that are high in the industry. They're good at what they do. They have a lot of independent businesses, and just knowing those people, just that gives you the next step up, because you're always going to be needing recommendations. And I think as long as you haven't got yourself stuck into a rut where you're volunteering 1 day a week and you've been doing that for 5 years, you have to have drive. And my drive is I want to get into the industry. So I mean, there's a couple of things. When we launched, I helped out with the launch. It was the 1st of September. The website, the people who had designed the website were running behind. We didn't get a website where we could upload content to until 3 days before, and there was 6 or 7 of us in the office. We were doing 16-hour days. People were just contributors that had written articles, were bringing food in, bringing drinks. We had the projector on, we had films running all day. And when it actually went to upload, when it went to the switch from the holding site to the live website, it was just, everyone was sort of, for those 2 hours, just waiting and watching films. When it was actually live and we saw people start using it, that's great. And especially when people come up to you and you're doing something for one another, it's like, oh, that's that thing that I've seen on Facebook. That was awesome. With people you meet as well, like obviously there's the people I work for, but even little things, like there's a guy who is the creative director of a design agency. He's in the office next to us, and he just comes in and it's such a laugh. Like we're not really taking it. We're taking it seriously, but there are times when you have to laugh, and he'll come into the office and say some jokes, throw a few insults and kind of leave, but it's all in good taste. But yeah, it's like a real family. You really get to know people, especially if it's a independent-y kind of type thing. You probably don't get the same experience if you're working for the BBC, for example, but locally it's really good fun. I think one of the key things that I found was get your foot in the door. That's what I try to do. I'm dyslexic, and when I was at school, if anyone suggested that I would go on and want to be a writer and be doing journalism pieces in 4 years' time, 5 years' time, I'd have probably laughed at them. But just for me wanting to get involved in something, I just came across starting to write, and now it's something that I really enjoy, and that's what I really want to pursue. And I think you shouldn't write it off. You should have an aim, you should have an industry you want to go into, but don't necessarily be so narrow-minded that all you want to do is be a cameraman, or all you want to do is just write journalism, because it might pay off, but you might also be neglecting something hidden or something that you really enjoy that you've just never tried. I think, just get involved, try anything, and if it doesn't work, then you're not losing anything, you're not quitting a job, because you're just offering your time, you're volunteering your time. So
yeah.
I think for me, volunteering is like a foot in the door. Hopefully when I finish, I'll still be able to contribute to things like one another, maybe not in the volume or the intensity that I'm doing now, but maybe an article every now and then, still helping them out. I'd like to obviously be able to make a living in an industry that I like and not have to rely on volunteering. And I'd very much like that when I finished, I'd be in the position where I can offer opportunities to things like university students or hobbyists and things like that. So it's kind of full circle. So going from being a volunteer to actually being the one asking for volunteers.